to the decision to place Aube-Kubel in waivers, and do you plan to use that roster spot before 5 p.m. tonight?
I think what really pushed the decision was the fact that Kulich has played so well, and we want to, keep progressing him. Second part, it is something that we're talking about right now.
As far as Nicolas goes, we saw some of his best in the beginning of the season. Did he have trouble getting back in that groove after the injury? Was it hampering him?
I think that's part of it. I think he came back. He came back from that earlier than we expected. Admittedly, he had said to me that he felt good, but didn't feel he skated as well as he did. I thought, through camp, he'd really skated well, but coming back, it just didn't seem like he was catching any traction.
The way Kozak play also go into the decision?
Yeah, that would. Yeah, I mean that's part of what we're talking about too, Paul. I'll be honest. This afternoon.
Is Kozak kind of everything you're looking for? Just the way he plays the game.
Yeah, he's. If you look at drawn penalties, his effort, physicality. He stepped in those first 2 games. He really scored 2 goals in 2 games, goes to the net well. He makes the guys around him better, in the role he's playing. Really have liked what he's done when he's been in the lineup.
Rasmus was talking about Tage moving around. He likes it because it maybe forces him to use his instincts a little more. Just what does Tage moving around maybe do for the other 4 players on the ice there?
Well, I think the other team realizes the big shot, and a lot of times if you're not moving it, if your plan is to take that away, it becomes pretty easy. But when you move around, what it does is all of a sudden Quinn, who has a great shot and can make plays off that flank, is open, and then if they start to cover him a little bit, then the hole opens up. So, I think our power play has done a lot better job. I mean, we had one bad game on the trip with our power play, the Calgary game, which hurt us, but got right back to generating some really good opportunities in the Edmonton game and really just didn't finish. But, with him moving around, it is, when Raz looks at it from up top, it gives him a couple more options.
A trend around the league, Lindy, where younger players, it takes them time to really make an impact on the power play, even some of the more talented younger prospects. What's the process in working with these guys to get them more comfortable dealing with the pressure and the different looks they're going to have on the power? Because a lot of your personnel on the power play, they're younger guys.
Yeah, I think it's realizing the outs. Getting the puck off the yellow and realizing where you can get it back into the middle of the ice. A big part about the power play is retrievals, and when you're under pressure, can you relieve it? Can you solve it as a young player? We're getting a lot better at that. If you look at, you're right, we're power play's young. I think the fact now we get McLeod back, we get Zucker back, probably soon we get Greenway back. We'd like to find a little bit of consistency with the power play unit going back to with Zucks there and. The 2 units kind of working in harmony and keeping those 5 pieces together. Even actually 5-on-5, we're getting those guys back in the lineup and trying to we need a little bit of rhythm, 5-on-5 rhythm with. We're generating a lot of opportunities. We're not finishing, and I'd like to see that. Us try to catch some type of rhythm where, you can get 3 or 4 goals a night.
Of it is some of that mental, because it's not just young guys that the finishing hasn't been there this season.
I think when things are going good, you almost look at there's got to be a little bit of puck luck to it. You're bouncing a few. You look at a couple of goals against us that have bounced off skates and shin pads, and you need a little bit of puck luck, but you got to get yourself in the right place for a second opportunity. I thought even these last 3 games we got around the net. We had people there. The puck, there was a couple times the puck bounced over our stick. There was a couple times it just hit us in the wrong spot. You look at the tying goal where Kulich's right there in front of the net and just can't quite get a stick on it, and it's going off his skate. So I think a little bit can be mental, but I think when it becomes mental, get yourself in the inside, get yourself around the front of the net, get yourself off the backside. I mean, if you're going to watch highlights of goals, you see that. You see that every night. If you're on the perimeter, outside the dots, you can find yourself drying up 5-on-5.
Game in Boston, just one of those heartbreakers. It was a low chance, low goal game. You did take the late penalty, and you basically killed it off. They scored like at the 2-minute mark of the penalty.
Yeah, it was just at the time, Paul, another way to lose that you had to bring up. You look at that game, like we got in real late that night. That was we had a little bit of weather. We got in at 3 a.m. It was a back-to-back game, and we probably played one of our better back-to-back games. Played the game the right way. Managed the puck really well in that game. Don't like the penalty we took. It hurt us. And you're right. And we hit our own guy, into our goaltender, which, allowed the goal. But I think we get rewarded if we play a similar game. Like to see a few more, but we didn't give up much. I mean, I think after 50 minutes, we'd only given up 13 or 14 shots. So it was a game that gave us a chance to win in a difficult back-to-back situation.
For an opponent that's kind of had the ups and downs the way Boston has this year, where some nights they look like the Bruins we know, and then other nights they're just really fighting it.
I think it's just a little product of the league, really. There's different teams we've played. You get some night you might get. I mean, you look at the last 40 we played against Edmonton. I felt when you look at shot quality and the type of opportunities, we dominated, and that's kind of what the league has done. You can have a tough period. We had a tough first period, but played really well second and third. I think when I look at Boston's game, they play some good periods of hockey, but there's a period of hockey here or there that really hurts them too. And I think there's been times where their lack of scoring, when they kind of seem like us at times, their lack of scoring has hurt them.
Noticed about just the way Kulich has adjusted. Obviously he was dominant there in the AHL, and how has he kind of picked it up?
Yeah, he's getting himself in a good. I mean, if you look at the goal he scored, it wasn't a power play in that Edmonton game. He's getting himself inside the dot, a little bit narrower. If you look at just before he scored, the shot he took, which was a difficult shot, kind of jammed him in between. He's got a great release. He's still got a lot on it, and I think that he's finding himself in that right spot. I'd actually like to see our, whether it's Byram or Power up there, find him a little bit more. I think he's been open, and we haven't looked that way a couple times. But if you look at the goal he scored, that's a little bit what we saw, even at prospect camp, him getting inside the dot and a shot that goaltenders can't get to. You're welcome.